Good morning time, good evening time, good afternoon time, whatever case may be in your part of the world. Crisscrossing wires. And this morning I'm just going to do a real quick live stream on this BMS battery bypass. Yeah. Let's see, can I get the chat up there? Just in case somebody else is an early bird like me and up. But, alright, so basically, I'm going to do a bypass on this battery. Not my normal type of bypass, the way I would normally want to do it. And the way I normally do a bypass is, normally I keep everything intact as far as the discharge side and the charge side and the BMS. What I normally do is wire up a whole different power cord, you know, with the connector and cables. And normally I like to open up the pack completely and run a whole nother power harness, just like I said, straight to the positive and negative terminals on this battery. If you just run new power wires directly to the supply voltage of this battery, the last final stage where there's 72 volts positive and the ground, that is the easiest way to do a bypass, because that harness is going straight to the battery, no BMS in line. And you also keep the ability to use a BMS if you want to. You know what I mean? You can run through, if you run through your normal connector, you're still going through the BMS. If you run through the power connector that you run straight to the battery terminals, then that's bypassed. But on this battery, I wanted to keep it looking nice and pretty. For one, I don't have any more shrink wrap, so if I was to cut this battery completely open, I wouldn't be able to shrink wrap it back. And I was trying to keep it as neat as possible. Now, I knew where the BMS is located on this battery, so the easiest thing to do was, as you can see, I sliced the top open very neatly around the edges. So all you had to do was pop the top just like that, and bam, we have access straight to the BMS. You know, that's the best way to do it as far as this goes, without making a big mess. Nice and neat. Then after I do it, I can close it back up and tape it up. Now, in this battery, the way I'm gonna have to do it now is I'm gonna have to disconnect the discharge side ground and move it over to the ground that goes straight to the battery terminals. Now, as I told you guys before, on a BMS, the grounds run through the BMS, not the positive side. The grounds for the discharge side and the grounds for the charge side. That's the only thing that goes through the BMS. And you know, when the BMS cuts off, it disables the ground, whether that be charge side or discharge side. So that is the plan. We are just going to, this is coming from the discharge side. I'm going to take both of these. Now, if you notice, this power cable has two 8-gauge wires on the ground and on the positive side. So they have them, each one has their own place to solder on this board. So I'm going to move this one to this side and this one to this side. That's all we're doing on this one. All right, that way the grounds are still connected to this BMS. That way the charge side will still be operable. Now this one in the middle, that's going to our charging cord. So we're going to leave that one there so we can charge through the BMS. So that's pretty much it as far as that. I'm going to try to do that real quick before this battery dies. I don't have much battery on this GoPro, but at least I've already explained to you what needs to be done. So if this battery dies on me, you already know that's all we're doing is moving that to there. Bam, battery bypass. All right, real quick, I'm going to show you where we're at with the bomber build. Because basically I was going to try to do this last night, but I ran out of gas. So I was able to put some brakes on this thing. As you can see, I got some basic single piston brakes on here for right now. Now, yes, I have some Magura MT7s that I wanted to put on here. The only thing I had took them apart, so I need to put some fluid in them, brake fluid. Right now my brake fluid is all packed up with everything else, and I'm not about to go unpacking that stuff. I just wasn't thinking that I was going to need my brake fluid, so I'm pretty sure it is at the bottom of the box with my chemicals. So that being said, just for temporary, just so I have some brakes, I threw on a pair of single piston brakes that I had. But yeah, there it is with some brakes. There's the regen throttle, I guess that's what you'll call it, the variable regen. I put it on the right side. This is the side that it's supposed to be on. These handlebars, man, I mean, I like the color of them. That's the reason why I bought them, for the colors, but I really should have paid more attention how they're made. It makes it kind of hard to mount stuff on these handlebars. They got a weird shape to them, as you can see. The way they bend right here, it's not ideal when you need to add other things, even if you look at the other side over here. Also, I switched out the Soldering throttle for the Domino throttle, and the people that recommended I use a Domino throttle with a BAC 8000 were exactly right, because I noticed with the Soldering throttle, and the Soldering throttle is basically the same as any other throttle, they ramp up really fast, and that's definitely not ideal for that thing, because that thing unleashes so much power quickly. So when you barely turn the throttle, I mean just like barely cracked it, it ramped up really fast. So this Domino throttle has a nice, smooth, easy ramp up, and it also has a lower starting voltage than like the Solderin's, and I'm gonna say Soldering throttle, but basically any other electric throttle, even the magnetic Chinese throttles, when you just barely crack them a little bit, I mean, the voltage increases so fast in those that it's like, vroom. I mean, you're maxed out when you just barely crack the throttle. But this Domino throttle starts off at a nice low voltage, and the ramp up is real nice and smooth, and there's no dead spots. So yes, definitely a better throttle to use on that thing. So okay, let me try to hurry up and move this ground wire over here. Like I said before, I run out of juice. I'm going to attempt to use this old soldering iron that I have, because I got my good soldering iron packed up too. And this thing, the tip is pretty terrible on it, but I'm going to try to do the best I can with it. I don't even have any of my flux or anything. All that's at the bottom of the thing. So let's see if this iron will work and heat this up. Hopefully you guys can see. Now see, that's the difference when I always tell you guys about a good hot iron instead of those little Mickey Mouse irons. Now the good part about this is that is a ground, so it's nothing hot. You know, like if it was going through the hot side, I would be worried dropping hot wires all around on top of metal stuff. But this side wants to be a little difficult. There we go. And I'm just going to double check. I'm pretty sure that is the side that's going to my that's not going to the battery, but I'm just going to double check just to be yep. So hopefully this reaches over to the other side, or I'm gonna have to pull it through a little more. It don't look like it's gonna reach though, so I will probably have to see if I can loosen this up a little bit. Get some of that off of there. Silicone. Let me see who we got out there. Lou, you the only one up and about this morning, huh? What's going on, homeboy? Yeah, I'm up early like it's Christmas. You know, I want to go play with my new toy. Even though I went to bed about